this morning we are live, and actually, this is a phone chat, right? So if you have the desire to call in and have a conversation about this particular podcast and the substance of the podcast, feel free. Area code 870-571-3995. So this morning we're having a conversation about uh, actually the main event is Fandora versus Booker, right? Um, but the undercard to the main event is the topic in which we are having a conversation about, and that features George Kambosos versus Josh Wyllie. Right now, I need to say that this is like a update to the previous opponent that they had selected for George Kambosos Jr. Right, and that was the notes. The notes. Daoud Yordan was previously George Campos's opponent, right? And for some reason that wasn't stated, Daoud Yordan came up ill and required him to bow out of this particular fight. And I don't know if that's a good thing because they said Daoud Jordan was a big puncher and he was coming right at George Kambosos Jr. In fact, factually speaking, he had made such comments to George Kambosos Jr. in that he was going to knock George Kambosos out. Right now, I need to state for the purposes of clarity in regards to this particular fight and the statement made by Daoud Jordan, right, and that we need to say that George Kambosos hasn't been that um, win conscious of late. The last three of his fights have been losses. Two of noteworthy to mention was um, Devin the Dream Haney. Devin the Dream Haney beat George Kambosos twice in his home country of Australia. And the first time was to take the belt, and the second time was to defend the undisputed belts at that particular time. The first one was to unify the unified belts, which George Kambosos held the majority of the belt, and Devin Haney was the proprietor of the WBC lightweight champion of the world. Right. So the first bout, George Kambosos lost to Devin Haney, and Kambosos fortunately had a rematch clause, and he instituted the rematch clause again. They fought in uh, George Kambosos Jr. home country of Australia, and again, George Kambosos lost to Devin Dream Haney. That was his second loss. Then, in 2024, George Kambosos Jr. fought Vasily Lomachenko, right? Vasily Lomachenko stopped George Kambosos, I think it was the fifth round, if I'm not mistaken, right? So George Kambosos Jr. has um, created a bad look in regards to the fight that to be made between George Kambosos Jr. and Jake Wyllie, right? And I need make mention this because I per se happen to like George Kambosos Jr. I think George Kambosos Jr. is one of the types of fighters that brings a good label to the sport. He is very well known. He is a big puncher, and he can box. But unfortunately for him, the opponents that they chosen for him in those regards, Vasily Lomachenko and Devin the Dream Haney, he just wasn't able to overcome those fights. And therefore, he has a loss ratio of 3 fights. That doesn't make him a bad guy, right? Especially given the fact that, in my opinion, George Kambosos, again, is a good um, person for the sport, right? The way he conducts himself, other than the fact, and I don't like to be the one that brings this type of music or news to the table, but this is what I do. I'm a news analyst, actually. So, George Kambosos Jr. Was in debt to his promoter at the time, Peter Kahn, and Peter Kahn took George Kambosos to court and won a decision over George Kambosos for $350,000 for monies that George Kambosos didn't pay him for the Devin Haney fights and the Vasily Lomachenko fight. So I don't know. Shout out to the Mexican G. I don't know if that's a good look, given the fact that George Kambosos has lost three previous fights, and maybe we might consider that as being karma for disrespecting the sport, because that type of look is not good for the sport. I'm quite sure George Kambosos Jr. knows that. And again, I like George Kambosos Jr. But when you do things that have a bad taste in the boxing guy's mouth, hey, this is to be expected, right? And also, there is another lawsuit pending from his previous trainer. I don't recall that guy's last name or first name, but it's just a bad look for George Kambosos, and especially going into this fight. Now, I will say that both of these gentlemen on March 22nd, Saturday, in Australia, are both Australians, right? So I mean, and the notion was that Yordan, Yordan wasn't making the type of noise necessary to make the fight financially successful, right? So I don't know. They say he fell out because of illness, but logically speaking, it could have easily been George Kambosos and Eddie Hearns decided that this ain't working. You know what I'm saying? We need somebody that's going to promote some tickets. So and this is my opinion. I'm not saying that this is actual fact, but I'm stating this based on the inferences that has been alleged through this process with this particular event, right? That Yordan wasn't selling no tickets. And they, per se, this is about the ticket sales, right? And for everybody involved, this is about the ticket sales. You ain't selling no tickets, you ain't getting paid. I mean, that's just the bottom line. And shout out to the Mexican G. The Mexican G said he's never been a fan of George Kambosos Jr. Well, I wonder why. Why is that, the Mexican G? I personally, I like George Kambosos Jr. because he will fight. You know what I mean? He could, contrary to the fact that he's lost again the last three fights out, right? He did a marvelous job on Teofimo Lopez. That's how he got the belts from Teofimo Lopez. Now, I don't know. That might be considered a good reason why we don't want to like George Kambosos Jr. What say you, the Mexican G? But anyway, like I said, say the Mexican G, shout out to the Mexican G. The Mexican G said he's not a very loyal person. The Mexican G, I believe I did a pretty good job of establishing that he wasn't a very good loyalist. But should we dislike him because he's not a very good loyalist, or because he's not a very good boxer? Which one is it? You know what I mean? I think he's a pretty good boxer, but you're right about the loyalty aspect, because Peter Kahn was really adamant about getting paid, and we can see why it was $350,000. And it is some other allegations made by his what is that guy's name? By his trainer at the time. Who was that? The Mexican G. Who the Mexican G? Who was George Kambosos Jr. Trainer during the time he fought Devin Haney? The stat man, the Mexican G, Javier Cantano, Cantano, Javier Cantano. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Javier Cantano. That was his trainer. You're absolutely right. Now I don't know why you don't have a podcast, sir, because you got all the information. You know what I mean? You must be one of those shy type because you got all the information, brother. You know what I'm saying? I told you as soon as I get this thing rolling, I'm gonna have you on the show, like it or not, buddy. But wait, hold. Like I said, this is actually one of the undercards, right? This is the undercard two. Um, Fundora versus Booker, right? Now, what is it? Super middleweight, I believe. Super middleweight. Because Fundora was chasing, or allegedly he was chasing Charles Bud Crawford, but somehow that fight. Shout out to Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more. What's up? What up, brother? How you doing today? Good looking for checking in on the brother. Yeah, 154. Yes, 154. Super middleweight. No, excuse me. Junior middleweight, super welterweight, 154. Right. Or junior middleweight. Correct? Also, it's also a junior middleweight. I don't know why they got it like that, but that's the way it is. Super welterweight, junior middleweight at 154. But yeah, it is. It is. But I mean, actually, all the divisions follow in like that. It's like junior, super. The next match up, the next division up. It all falls in that category of either or super or the following category. Right. It is a relatively confusing, but um, the main event is Fundora, right? Sebastian Fundora, and he has been on the table for what? Who did he fought? Who did he fight last? He fought Tim. He fought Tim Zoo last, right? And it was a bloody bout, but he won, right? And that was the last time that he fought. And I think that was what the first part. Yeah, Tim Zoo, and that was the first part of 2024. Right? So what I'm saying is these cats are sit on the bench for a long time, and that inactivity has to have um, a place in their consistency. You know what I mean? When it comes to getting in the ring, right? I mean, they're gonna be stale. I mean, hey, look, I don't care how much you train. I'm saying this from experience. I don't care how much you train, right? It's hard not to be um, rust worthy Russ worthy if you're not getting in that ring, right? Boxing, I'm talking under the lights, right? Training and sparring is one thing. Getting under the lights and getting busy is another. You know what I mean? And I'm saying that again from experience, right? So I don't know how good um, Sebastian Fundora is going to be with Booker. So, and I will say this: there is an exception to the rule. Keith Thurman is an exception to the rule, right? And that type of display that he put on Saturday, right, when he knocked out his opponent in the third round, and it was, I mean, hey, look, it was an awesome display of boxing, especially for a 36-year-old man that hasn't been in the ring for 3 years. You know what I mean? I thought that was something to watch. You know what I'm saying? To see Keith Thurman with so much precision. That was the word I was looking for when it came to Sebastian Fundora, right? I don't know if he's going to have that type of precision when he gets in the ring with Booker because he's been off for over a year. You know what I mean? But let me say, and I'm going to be realistic with you. For years, I wasn't really a big fan of Keith Thurman. But after that display of art, right, that he pulled off over what was that dude's name? I can't remember his name. But and this kid that he knocked out was not a joke. You know what I mean? He had hands. You know what I mean? And he was putting some stuff on Keith Thurman, but Keith Thurman was slipping that junk. You know what I mean? And pivoting off that junk. And it was like, dang, I thought Keith Thurman, you know what I mean, was garbage. But Keith Thurman became one of my biggest boxing. Let me say it like this. I am one of Keith Thurman's biggest fans after that fight because he showed me a side of his style that I hadn't seen, right? I mean, he was relaxed. He had a punch selection for everything that, what is that kid's name? The Mexican G. You still in the house? Who did Keith Thurman just fight? Anybody in the chat? Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more. Who? Brock Jarvis. Wait a minute. So I don't know why Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more, you don't follow my channel, brother, enough, because it's people like you that I would like to have more on my channel, especially, you know what I mean, for you to maybe call in sometime and let's have a conversation, because it's people like you that make boxing. You are what they call a boxing fan, right? Hardcore boxing fans. And that's what I can appreciate about the boxing game, right? Hardcore boxing fans, people that understand the ins and outs of boxing, not just a person that knows how to throw a punch or two. Okay, that's fair. How can I support Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more? What does Bruce Gas? Matter of fact, don't even trip. I'll find out for myself and support you, brother. Yes, sir. Because you do occasion me, and that is absolutely a good thing. Each one teach one, each one reach one. That's my philosophy, and that's a good philosophy um, to embrace. So I'm going to go and pull you up and support what it is that you do. How about that, brother? Okay. So look, man. I got a few things. Okay, Zubair Khan. Shout out to Zubair Khan. Zubair Khan wants to know, what do I think about Muhammad Ali? I think Cigar Zubair Khan. I think that Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more answer your question, and it would be in the comments section. Check it out, because he's absolutely right. There has been controversy about that allegation about Muhammad Ali is the greatest of all time. It's been controversy about that, but it came from shout out to Luke Chamberlain. Comment: I think the greatest fighter alive today would never come close to the greatest fighter of the past. We had a little Roman gladiator. Now, who was that? Luke Campbell. Make it known, Luke Campbell. Who are you referring to today? The Roman gladiator. You see that? Okay, okay, people. In my opinion, I think, and then also in Mike Tyson's opinion, yes, Mike Tyson believes that Muhammad Ali was a better fighter than he would ever he was ever. Mike Tyson said that Muhammad Ali was better than he could ever have become. Absolutely. Bruce Gas, Jazz and Mo, absolutely correct. Yeah, yeah, this is what it's about. I like this. And look, man, this is what my ambitions is in his boxing game, as far as this podcast is concerned. You know what I mean? Luke, wait a minute, ho. Luke Chamberlain. Okay, you got that? Um, Jabir Khan. The comment at the very end says volumes about Muhammad Ali and okay. Okay. I got you, Luke Campbell. I got you, and I see where you're coming from with these gladiators and these potential greats, right? But sir, that era that you speaking of was like what? The gladiator era. Genghis Khan was one of the um, greatest warriors of ancient history, right? Genghis Khan, Chinese, right? But I think that this chat is referring to the greats of this century, right? And the preceding century. But I get you, brother. I get you, Luke Campbell. You know what I mean, and that's good stuff. But I don't think that it is challenging, to say the least, that it could headline a main event if these people was boxing today, sir. You know what I'm saying? Because you're talking about gladiators versus boxers. We talking about, there you go. Gil Cole. Gil Cole has embraced my presence. And shout out to Gil Cole. What's going on, brother? You know what I'm saying? I can't help but saying that I miss you, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you always got a good one for me. Oh, no. No, brother. You was absolutely correct, as always. You were correct about the overturn decision about Tankin and Roach, and I went on the record and made a correction. Right, that was absolutely incorrect. But wait a minute, Luke Campbell is in the house. If Arnold Schwarzenegger would have thought in boxing, I think you would have been one of the greatest back then. Arnold Schwarzenegger? Luke Campbell. Are you serious? Luke Campbell. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, but Arnold Schwarzenegger was a weightlifter, and he wouldn't stand a chance in a. See, like, let me tell you something, Luke Campbell. Since you're on the subject, since you brought this subject to the table, right? A person that lifts weights, and there's a lot of these cats in the gym today that lift weights, right? Right. But a boxer, a pure boxer, would know that weightlifting slows you down. It gels up your movement, right? It slows you down. So I don't think that Arnold Schwarzenegger, as big as he was and as strong as he was, would have stood a snowball chance in HELL of beating even these heavyweights today. He wouldn't. I mean, they would have just walked him down and whooped him. He couldn't hit him. You know what I mean? But but the perception is cool, to say the least. Okay, Gil Cole asked what confirmed it. No, it was just a misrepresentation of what I thought was actual facts, right? Going off some bull crap. Somebody stated it. I didn't follow up on it, and that's why I did the honorable thing and retracted. Luke trolling. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Bruce Gas Jazz and more. Luke is trolling Bruce. See, this is why I do this. Sometimes I get a little frustrated, because I don't get. Man, this is for the record, Gil. This is entertaining to me too, man. You know what I'm saying? For y'all come on and we have these conversations. This is entertaining to me. You know what I mean? I would have to go out there, what I'm gonna have to do anyway, and work on my bins. I got actually it's a refurbished 1987. 560 SL Mercedes Benz. That's a drop top, and I kind of said never really got it the way that I wanted in an engine. Oh, no, we ain't gonna start that, Gil, because you trying to start some stuff, man. Gil Cole asked, what's my take on Haney versus Garcia undercard playing out? I think well, you already know, Gil. You already know what I think. In fact, now that you bring that up, since there's interest in that particular subject, I'm gonna do a video on it. So I'm gonna hold off on giving you an answer to that, right? If it's all right with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do a video on that, probably the next one, right? But that's a good subject. That's some good subject matter. That's some good stuff. You know what I'm saying? But back to my business. I mean, back in the days I bought it. You know what I'm saying? Cash money, and this is a rare Benz actually, right? It was like maybe 50,000. No, I think it was more than that, but it wasn't that many made. It's a rare Benz, right? And it's okay. I don't know what the heck happened, but I almost lost my. You did, man. Hey, check this out, man. So in going back through it, I got some rust in the trunk, right there on the right hand side by the gas tank, right. I gotta get that clean, fixed. I mean, I gotta get my car back to where it was, man, so I can do what I need to do because it'll help me along the way with my boxing, right. No. I ain't overlooked Jose Ramirez. I'm not. Gil, hey, look, let me do this professionally, right? I'm gonna have a comment for you when we do the podcast. Probably tomorrow, or maybe even later on tonight. I don't know. All depends on how I feel. But I wish that I'm gonna start notating when I come up with a video, right? So y'all might hit the subscription button to be able to find out when I'm dropping videos, right? It's still a lot of stuff that I gotta do, and it's people like y'all in the chat today that keeps my motivation stimulated. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff that I need to do with this podcast, but you know what I mean? Because I don't get the necessary attention, and that's probably a lot has something to do with me and me getting lazy and not using my. I got a sharp mind. Man. If I don't have nothing else, I was blessed with a sharp mind. And sometimes it's easily considered as genius. You know what I'm saying? And it's been like that all my life, right? I mean, I can get in situations, right, and find the method to the madness, right? And I don't know if everybody can do that, right? So I'm saying I don't have excuses for why this podcast isn't off the hook, other than the fact that I'm being lazy, and I'm gonna stop that. You heard me? Okay, listen, man, I got to get up out of here. Gil Cole, I love you, brother. Shout out to Bruce Gas Jazz. I'm gonna look you up, brother, and hit that subscription button if I can. And all the rest of y'all in the chat, Mexican G, you know I love you, boy. And hit that subscription button, hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, and let me know if y'all think that George Kambosos Jr. got some morals that needs to be revised. And share the video with your friends and relatives. Shout out to you, Gil Cole. Later on.